Savage, back with you a few minutes after my last piece. I'm doing 1 minute videos now, 1 to 3 minutes, when I get ideas that I've been working on. Instead of develop them into longer pieces, I'm working with the mental capacity of the average viewer on iPhones. So today I wanted to talk about the topic of the subway hero in New York City, Mr. Penny, a beautiful man, a wonderful, heroic man, indicted by a black racist DA, put in there by George Soros in order to create constant turmoil and foster whatever hatred he can in New York City and every other city where Soros's dirty, filthy money has been dispersed in order to hire vermin like Alvin Bragg, who, that fat slob, in my opinion, and I hope God is listening, gets his just rewards. I hope Alvin Bragg pays for the crime that he has foisted upon the people of New York City. I hope that that God does to Alvin Bragg what he's done to millions of New Yorkers, held them prisoner. He has basically put New York City into a chokehold with his left-wing, communistic, black racism of the lowest kind. It's Soros money put this slob into the district attorney's office. And here is a hero who stands up on a subway car and subdues a black maniac who's threatening everybody, not intending to kill him. The guy dies from a combination of drugs, the chokehold, fear, whatever it was, and he dies. And now this poor man, Penny, is on trial for his life because of the vermin in New York City like Alvin Bragg and the filthy judges who permitted this case to go forward, the same way they did permit the cases to go forward against Donald Trump. If there's any justice in the world, we'll come to understand that Penny is not only not guilty, he's a hero. He should be given the keys to the city. Now, you have to understand the background to this. You probably hung up already, most of you. You have the attention span for the first minute. I'm talking about the subway hero today for the moment, instead of doing a long form one. This began with Obama, who was the political antichrist who came upon the world scene. Obama is the equivalent of the political antichrist. Remember, it was Barack Hussein Obama who said this, and I'm quoting him, "We are no longer a Christian nation," unquote. This mandate was carried forward by Joseph Biden, the criminal, which again was funded in part by the Soros agenda and enforced by the ACLU, which continues to enforce this pagan anti-Christian agenda, okay? You should know that the Bolsheviks, during the Russian Revolution of 1917, burned churches, burned synagogues, arrested and killed priests and rabbis. And here in America, the ACLU and the media continue to defame and destroy our churches, which do not comply with their Leninist agenda, which is basically taking the form of the trans agenda, which is their more militant side of the Leninist agenda. How did we get here? How did we get to the point where this continual turmoil is permitted to go on in our cities? Well, we're hoping that Donald Trump can change things federally, and I'm sure he will. But this is clearly treason that is being conducted with dirty money of the type put forward by George Soros and his son and others. Our nation and the nations of the West, whether it be England, France, Germany, the Nordic countries, you'll have to agree with me, has been infiltrated by enemies. By enemies. This is a criminal element in all of the West that has tried to create continual turmoil during their reign of terror. They claim that they're doing it for the downtrodden and the poor, but that's not exactly what it is. They acquit the criminals even when the misdeeds of the criminals are of such enormity as to endanger public welfare. Still, the Alvin Braggs of the world acquit the criminals and convict the cops and the good people. So how did this happen? It happened because the nations have been infiltrated by enemies, the enemies within, and they use the cloak of a pious doctrine that the guilty are not really guilty, that they're really innocent of an oppressive society, and that anyone who tries to control them is the guilty party. And so every crime is followed by an acquittal, and every acquittal by another conspiracy, which again brings about another acquittal, all because a liberal government is characterized by clemency for the guilty. Criminal clemency, as I will remind you, more than anything else, has contributed to the destruction of the structure of our nation, which has not yet been entirely completed. And let's hope that Donald Trump can stop the Soros district attorneys and judges and the other vermin of the earth. This is Michael Savage telling you today that the continual turmoil that we are living through is a result of a pious doctrine of the communists funded by dirty money of that type that you see coming from George Soros. I hope you've enjoyed my short sermon about the subway hero indicted by the racist DA. And let's pray to God that Mr. Penny, the subway hero, is vindicated and released, and eventually justice is seen upon Alvin Bragg, who will eventually be arrested, as I'm sitting here, for crimes we have not yet even seen or heard about. But we all know that under the surface, he's as guilty as all of those he accuses who are really innocent.